Yes everyone, welcome back. Tomorrow we officially begin our campaign to retain our Champions League trophy. After securing the Super Cup and the Club World Cup, you guys, I'm getting used to not only European but world domination too, and tomorrow we have an incredible opportunity to find ourselves in the quarterfinals of this year's Champions League. Now, I'm not saying that we should take Lille for granted and we should ignore their threat. Absolutely not. And recently, over the past few months, we have really struggled against quite a lot of teams in which all of us are kind of hoping and feeling like we should be comfortably beating these teams based on the manager, the tactics, and the players we have at our disposal as well. But the truth is, we have not been as prolific. I mean, it took a great goal from Ziyech right in the end to get a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. And for me, I think the reality is that at this level, teams find a way to play against you. You know, you can't just use the same tactic forever thinking you're going to get away with things. After a while, teams know how to play against you, and currently teams understand that if they use a low block or mid block structure and of course keep their spaces closed in the middle and keep themselves protected essentially, then they can give us an incredibly difficult game. For me, I think it's really simple. If we want to have a real strong opportunity to challenge on every single front, not just be a cup team that can play knockout round games, but to be able to compete for the league title as well, we need to find a way to play against teams that sit back and park the bus. If we can't do that, we aren't going to be winning any league titles for a very long time, because teams like Liverpool and Man City can break these teams down on a much higher level. One thing that I think would help us though was if players did play in their best preferred attacking positions. I think recently we've seen how Hakim Ziyech has really benefited from playing down the right hand side, which is his best role. And imagine if players like Kai Havertz was able to play more in behind the striker or alongside him. Imagine if Pulisic was playing down the left wing instead of playing as a wing back or down the right hand side. Imagine if we saw that consistency throughout all these attacking players. You're definitely unlocking a few more percentage levels of quality in the team. The truth is, we are struggling against defensive teams. We are going to play against a defensive team tomorrow, and I guess what solutions will Tuchel find for us to be able to cope and make things work now? I do think one thing we have in our favour though is the fact that in this year's Champions League, in case any of you guys have forgotten, the away goal rule does not exist anymore. This now means that after 180 minutes of football has been played, and let's say the game is still tied, it now just goes into extra time and will be played on penalties. So for me, this is like a logical step up. It's no surprise that Thomas Tuchel played a big part in, showing his support towards this new rule change as well. And let's hope now that with teams having to play more attacking football, that's going to work more in our favour. In today's preview, guys, I'm going to break down Tuchel's press conference review. I'm going to discuss Lille for a bit. I'm going to give my predicted lineups as well as giving my match prediction too. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy. But before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by SPITCH, the ultimate fantasy manager app new on the market, which allows you to test out your managerial skills, your squad building skills, where every single week you can win up to a share of 70k. How does SPITCH work? It's very simple. Of course, you go to the description, download it, click on the link as well. You fill in your registration details. ID is very key because you have to prove you're 18 plus. It's sadly how things work, you guys. But once you're there, you can decide whether you want to really test things out to win a share of this money by competing in competition zones. But if you want to just test things out first to see how it works, it's very easy. You click on free right here. You go to create your lineup, and then of course you choose the formation that you want to use. I'm going to go for a 4-2-4 and shake things up a little bit. And then you fill out the lineup you want. So as you guys can see, this is the lineup that I've decided to go with. For this week, I've decided to just go for players that are more likely to get me good points. As you can see, I've got like a massive surplus of money left, like 43 mil. So I can improve my team in future weeks. All you have to do then, you guys, is then select your team captain. I'm going to be going for Coutinho in this game, and then it's really that simple. Join for free. Yes to play, and boom, you are ready to participate. So you guys, what you're waiting for in the description below, literally give SPITCH a download, test it out for free to see how you find it. Again, thank you to everyone that's joined me previously, and if you guys want to join me in my community league, then there is going to be a separate link in the description that you must click on afterwards to join me. So I hope you guys enjoy. Getting back to the video, now in the press today, Tuchel was joined by Edouard Mendy in sharing duties, so we start with Tuchel first, and naturally Lukaku was the main centre of conversation. You know, he was immediately asked, how do you get Lukaku more involved in the game? With Tuchel saying he doesn't know exactly, but this is definitely an issue that has to be dealt with. It's not time to be making fun of Lukaku though. However, it's safe to say that he was not involved in the game, as has been the case in other games as well. We move on to another Lukaku focused question, and finally this was a good question asked, and the question asked was, is the lack of goals due to the system? And I felt like Thomas Tuchel's answer was actually very honest, and I'd imagine that this is a question that he is constantly pondering in his head, and he will look to find ways to tweak things and improve things, because this guy is not an idiot, he's not a fool, he knows what has to be done to take us to the next level. As Tuchel said regarding the matter, maybe it could be the system. He says that there is a history of strikers at Chelsea that have struggled, so it's not one of the easiest places for forwards to come to. At the same time, in my system, we demand a lot from our forwards. We demand a lot of defensive work rate from the top as well too, a lot of physicality there. And to end things, Tuchel said that there's not just one reason behind struggles, and this is a very, very specific thing I really want to highlight. You know, a lot of times in football conversations, we always just distill down very complex conversations, or really like thorough debates down to these like black and white binary ways of like describing the game, and it's just like, it's not just one thing that just you fix and everything works. It's a lot more detailed and complex than that. So maybe I should do a video discussing this, just pondering on maybe the little like subtleties that could be causing this lack of danger in front of goal. And now we move on to Edouard Mendy, because you guys are only focused on the most important things said in the press conference. You know, Mendy was asked about his incredible year, of course, you know, winning the African Nations Cup, winning the Champions League, and so many more trophies. Of course, you know, Mendy said that he's very proud of all the successes, naturally, but when asked if this was a defining week in the season, he said that every week is a defining week at Chelsea. So, you know, these guys are properly PR trained here. They know exactly what answers they have to give to the press. I'd imagine after Lukaku's interview as well too, that players know even more now what must be said and what can't be said. Anyway, Mendy was asked about his relationship with Kepa, and you know, Mendy kept it real. He said that, you know, it's been good since day one. There's never ever been any bad blood in that sense. When I had to join my national team with Senegal for the AFCON, I wasn't surprised what Kepa was doing, because I know that he's a great goalkeeper. You know, it's natural to have competition at clubs like Chelsea, and I think maybe this is why both our keepers are performing so well, because they're just purely competing, and it's, you know, it's not personal. It's how life works, unfortunately. So right now, let's move on to the predicted lineup section. I'm going to do things a bit differently today. I'm going to go through Tuchel's predicted lineup, and I'm going to give you guys my own personal lineup that I would use in tomorrow's game. Now, for me, because of the nature of team I'm guessing we'll be facing, a defensive team tomorrow, I have to see attacking football, so I'm going for a 4-1-4-1 system. Up front, Lukaku, down the flanks, Havertz and Ziyech, midfield, Kovac, Kante, Jorginho, defence, Alonso, Rudiger, Silva, Azpilicueta and Mendy in goal. Now, yes, I know some people might be growing their eyes, you know, Lukaku in the lineup, he's so bad, why is Werner not playing there, why is Havertz not playing there? I think the reality is that, you know, if you actually go to transfermarket.com, look at all our recent games, you can literally count on one hand the amount of goals that our strikers have got under Tuchel in the past 12 months. At this point in time, Lukaku is the most successful one out of all of them. And for me, after you spend 100 million on a player, you don't give up on them easily, because we're not Man City. We don't have money like that, but we can just discard players that cost us 100 mil. You know, we need to get the best out of them, otherwise we're going to be screwed. I really think it's that simple. And Lukaku has demonstrated more promise than a lot of these guys have shown, for me actually, over the past few seasons. So let's hope that we can find a way to unlock this guy, because he is going to be key in the team. Of course, Ziyech is the first name on the sheet. If you ask me, be one of our best players over the past few weeks and past few months, easily first choice. Havertz down the left, I'm guessing maybe Tuchel wants to see more of that. It's not the first time he's played Havertz down that left hand side. Of course, in midfield, Kante, Kovac, Champions League requires the big boys to play. and imagine their leadership's going to be key. And I know that Cover is one of the only players in the team that can play those direct passes to Lukaku. Like literally when this guy came on the field in the last game, he nearly set Lukaku up, who was just offside by a hairline. So I need to see more of that Cover Lukaku relationship. And of course in defense, Alonso, Aspi, because I need to see a more naturally attacking fullback. Sarr for me, nah, he's good, he's okay, but he's not producing that threat that you need, and he plays backwards way too much and never gets discussed. So that is the first predicted lineup out of the way. Now I'm going to give you guys my predicted lineup. Up front, naturally, I've gone for Lukaku. In behind, I've gone for Kai Havertz. Down the flanks, Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. In midfield, Koffer Kante. Defense, Alonso, Rudiger Silva and Trevor Chalobah, with Mendy in goal. Now this is more like a 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. I mean, whatever you want to call it, essentially. Here, Havertz is playing a more central, focal position down the middle. I keep seeing people playing layoff passes to Lukaku and no one gets on the end of them. No one is close to him. Literally, theoretically, Havertz and Lukaku should be perfect for each other. I find it quite interesting that they've barely played any games together. When they have been playing together, one of these guys is out of position. I saw enough promise in the second half of the Club World Cup final when both Kai and Lukaku were playing up front together, creating those triangles either side of them down each flank. That was giving us more men inside the box, and that was giving us more of a goal threat than we ever saw throughout that entire game. I need to see more of this. No more Havertz out of position. It has to stop. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, Pulisic down his best position if Callum and Mason Mount aren't fully fit. Give this guy the confidence, and we need to rely upon all the players in the squad. Pulisic showed me as well in that cup final that he can perform if he plays his best role. Of course, Ziyech naturally down the other side. Midfield, Koffer Kante, I think that speaks for itself. Let's keep things real. In defense, I've gone for Alonso and Trev. Now, the reason why I've gone for these guys as my fullback options is number one, Alonso plays more for the Malang Sarr, regardless if his quality isn't always there. That's safe to say. And with Trevor Chalobah, I feel like after seeing him playing as the wide centre-back, he got forward really well. A lot of his goals came from his adventurous forays into the final thirds. Down that side, he plays a lot of line-breaking, progressive passing, and that's what I want to see more of. Progressive passes. This guy used to play in midfield as well too. He understands how to do both sides of the game. I've seen what he's done down that wide centre-back role this season, where he has played as like a fullback at times naturally anyway, and I do think with his crossing and his forward passing, he's a lot more of a dangerous threat compared to Christensen down that side. So that is my back four, and of course, best keeper in the world, Mendy. I don't have to say anything about that. So you guys, that is my predicted lineup. Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. If you don't agree, give your lineups in the comments as well. So right now, let's end things with the final match prediction. And for the first leg, I have gone for a 2-0 win for us. Now, the fact we are playing the first leg at home in front of our fans is an opportunity that we can't just take for granted, and we have to take advantage of that situation. LILLE, they've been in a different form. We do a lot better in knockout round games, so I feel a lot more confident about our chances in cup games compared to domestically, based on how we play. I'm hoping for a confident win in the first leg, which should give us some breathing room in the second leg and should help us prepare better for other games this season. And yeah, you guys, that is my match prediction. Hope you guys enjoying that note. I'm LILLE FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.